And so today's message is going to be several different themes here. If I have time, I may tell you a backstory of how I learned options. I'm going to kind of cover the market, talk about different stocks, what we've been up to in the Success Academy the last 2 weeks. So I'll start with the market. The reason it's been a few weeks since I recorded videos because we've been busy in the Success Academy making sure members are taking advantage of the market. And maybe taking advantage is not the right word choice because we don't take advantage of anybody or anything. We just capitalize on opportunities that are presented to us based on our skill set, right? And so let's look here at the charts. So the last video I recorded was my breaking news video where I was letting everybody know the tools we use called a market bottom, right? And members who heeded that advice and didn't get stuck up here, because a lot of people, like I, didn't trust the signal. We were like, I think the market may fall some more, right? But I have a mentor. I use tools. They've been more right than they've been wrong. So I readjusted my portfolio. So I benefited from the market going up since that signal. So far, they've been right. That was the bottom and the market was recovering. Well, meaning that not the bottom. Well, yeah, the bottom of the bear market was ending, right? And so last time I think last time I updated on my portfolio was maybe down $20,000. I can't remember. So in full transparency, I'm not like the gurus who are showing all these winning trades. They're lying to you. They're acting like they never lose money. I'm like, no, losing money is a part of all successful investing. And so I was showing you the reality of it. Now, I always have my losses capped at a certain point because I insure my portfolios. But regardless, now because the market is going up, my portfolio is recovering. It's still at a loss, but that's okay. It's at a manageable loss. And so we are recovering. And if you're part of the Success Academy, what we've been doing is we've been tracking the different stocks that are leading the way out of this recovery. And so based on when I got the signal that the market bottom is in, I was tracking which stocks are leading the way, right? Sharing those with members. And so you can see some of those stocks here. You can see the dates. I don't have my most recent ones here on 424, but regardless, you can see some of the stocks here that we've been sharing with members. And so they can get in potential trades or just watch these stocks to see how they're performing. And so you can track these yourself to see if they went up since these dates. And so that's what we've been doing in the Success Academy. And it is absolutely amazing to me. And I just finished talking to my buddy about it, how it's unfortunate that we can't brag about it publicly because it can come across as insensitive. And it's kind of like meaning that the highest I've seen somebody make during this recent bear market was $20,000 a week, right? And they weren't taking advantage of anybody. Everybody else is laid off. Unemployment is high. People are freaking out. The economy, they're worried how things are going to look. But yet, because of our skill set, because of the way the stock market is designed, and because options allow you to make money in up, down, and sideways markets, they have truly been able to see that. The numbers range. Some people are making $2,000 a week, some people 20, and this is not a guarantee that you'll be able to do that or a promise. It's just showing you that it's just sad that other people don't know how to do this. They've never put the time in to learn this, and they just try the whole go to school, get a job, go to college, get deep in debt, all that blueprint is proven. It doesn't satisfy people, but financial freedom and being able to create cash on demand, from what I've seen, it gives people empowerment and it does satisfy them. It allows them to take care of their family. I had a funny thought today. I'm going off on a tangent. A lot of reason people want to learn options, they're like, I want more family time. And I was thinking like, yeah, because of the virus and things that are going on, a lot of people are in quarantine. I'm like, they're getting more of that family time, right? And so they're getting that. This is one way positive thing to look at what's going on. Is like, wow, I got what I wanted, more family time, right? And I didn't have to be rich to get that. So I think a lot of people miss that. They're so caught up in the news and all that other stuff and the negativity is surrounding. They're missing all the beauty around them. They now get that more family time without being rich, to be able to experience it. And then one person said, look, I'm really enjoying this time with my wife, and it's gave me more motivation now to create financial freedom so I can experience more of this. And then there are others who are like, yeah, I wanted more family time. And now that they have it, they're like, yeah, I don't think I want more family time. My family's getting on my nerves. So you have those two groups there. But anyway, let me go ahead and move on here. What do I have next? Well, I think I'll spend the last few minutes here talking about my backstory here. A lot of people don't know this, and it's kind of a mindset lesson, and apology and a mindset lesson. So you'll see kind of a Jekyll and Hyde of Travis real quick, because the more success, and I was telling my wife, I don't really like this about myself, but I'm noticing I'm getting like this. The more successful I get, the more my patience with whininess is going down. Like, I have very little patience with people whining about their obstacles, aka excuses. They use them as excuses, not obstacles, right? And so sometimes I can come across as insensitive, like I don't care, and I'll explain why I come across that way. But I'm working on that, because I never want to be that guy that like, sucks for you, oh well. And like, I always want to care, about people, but I don't know. Some people, I don't think they have what it takes to succeed. And if you're a weak-minded person or a person who whines a lot, I don't think I can recall any weak, whiny millionaires that I know. All of them had some kind of resilience and toughness about them, and it's because of how much they went through. I mean, you can think of Damon Don, the Shark Tank. Damon John used to work at Red Lobster. I never knew that. Mark Cuban talked about, I think, sleeping on a mattress on the floor with a small apartment or house with like 6-7 other guys. They talk about all the sacrifice they went through, right? And there's no whininess. There's a bunch of obstacles, and you just work through those obstacles. But then you have people who have the smallest obstacle, and they act like it's the end of the world, and all they rattle off is a bunch of reasons why they can't do X, Y, and Z. And those people, I don't think they have what it takes to succeed. Because again, I've never met a weak, whiny millionaire. It's just, they always have some kind of resilience, some kind of crap they've been through, but they managed to work through it, right? They didn't allow it to stop them. So most of you know I grew up poor, right? American poor, house with no running water or bathroom. We had a 5-gallon paint bucket that my dad put in the back room. That's what we use as a toilet, right? You know all of that, but what you don't know is, when I initially learned options, and I'll just look back and forth over here, my notes here, I actually learned through a telephone replay line, right? This software where you're looking at me, you're looking at my screen. No, I didn't have any of that. My mentor had a live call. I never attended any of the live calls because he always had them at 3 p.m. And I'm like, don't you know that people work jobs, right? Like, maybe I wasn't his target market. Maybe he was targeting people who were already millionaires who had free time or ran their own businesses, right? Not like people like me. I was broke, working at a job, climbing over dirty furniture in a warehouse with roach-infested furniture, because at that time I was still working in corporate America, right? And so all the calls were at 3 p.m. I always miss all the calls. And so when I get off work, I'd have to dial into a telephone replay line, right? Didn't see any charts. I just heard them talking about stocks and, oh, this stock had an entry on this date, right? And then I'm trying to look at my own charts on my computer, trying to find where he's looking at. And he would say it so fast, and you'd have to rewind the recording, right? And I think it was like, I did this so many times. I remember that it was star 67 and then pound or something like that, and it would rewind like 10 seconds back. So I'd literally have to do that 10 times just he'd say, oh, it made an entry on this date, and I'm looking at my chart and I miss it because the replay line doesn't stop for you. It's not like a video, like me rambling on. You can pause right now and rewind if you want to listen to me. Telephone replay line didn't have a pause or rewind, right? So I'd have to let him talk, and then, I missed it again. I rewind. I did that over and over again. So anyway, that's how I learned. I had no visuals at all. It was crazy. And I listened to those same recordings for I swear, 5, 6, 7 years over and over and over again, right? Because you could download them, right? And so there was a theory versus understanding. Like, he would say some things, and it didn't make sense to me because they were in theory. But again, I listened to those same recordings 5 years straight, over and over again, implementing everything I'm learning, right? And then then I started understanding. I'm like, oh, that's what he meant when he talked about this in week 3. Because now I had that real world understanding. Before it was all theory. But now that I've implemented, I had a real world understanding of it. And I think my kids are here. Yep. All right, so kids are here, so we'll see. I'll pause this and let's come back and see if I can finish off the next 2 minutes of this video with my wild boys here. All right, I'll be right back. You say hi?
Hi.
All right. Let's say hi. Yeah, you're here.
Hi.
Okay.
Can I type in something?
Not yet. Wait till I finish. All right, so moving on here. Another thing is I didn't have access to the internet during the day at my job. One of the worst jobs in my life. They only had what they call intranet, so they blocked outside access to the internet. So I couldn't log on, check trades, place trades, any of that. So people are like, how did you actually place trades? Well, I would look up, and it was an auditor job, so I was gone Monday through Thursday. We'd fly to different states across the country, right? So I'd look up where I was going, and then I'd look up their local library and Starbucks. So every time I took a lunch break at my job, what I do is drive to the local library or Starbucks, log on to my personal brokerage account in a public computer, right, which is highly risky, right, and then try to place trades that way. And then I go back to work and have no clue how my trades were placed or how the stocks would do, and getting out was the exact process, just in reverse, right? It was a nightmare. But despite all those obstacles, I still wound up achieving financial freedom in my mid-30s, right? And so the final takeaway there is no obstacle can stand in the way of commitment and persistence. And so what I have here is your financial results, and how quickly you achieve them will be directly proportional to your level of effort and commitment to push through any obstacle in your way. Right. So a recent example of this is a guy who recently quit my program. He was like complaining because he couldn't find out where to ask questions. You know, we have it labeled ask questions here is in all bold, but he's new, right? And we understand everything can be overwhelming for a new person. So once we showed him where that's at, you know, he would ask questions, and then he just found a bunch of other stuff to complain about, right? And so it took me a while. Like, we'd make trade changes based on his feedback, and he wouldn't say thank you, and he'd find more stuff to complain about. And then I finally had an aha moment. I'm like, he actually thinks the members area and how it's structured is holding him back from his success, right? When in reality, it's his stinking thinking, his negative head trash is holding him back. And so what I mean by the more successful I get, the less patience I have, is because this is unfair to you and anybody else. But I think about, he couldn't find an FAQ section. I'm like, I had to learn how to trade options from a telephone replay line, and I couldn't even see what the market was doing during the day for like 4 or 5 years. But yet, you know, I still overcame all those obstacles, growing up poor and all kinds of other nonsense I had to deal with, right? And so I compare his complaining to how much I went through, and it's an unfair comparison. And so I'm like, really, you whining about that? Really, do you know what I had to go through to get to where I'm at? But again, it's the same with every other successful person. Mark Cuban, Oprah Winfrey, you think of all these people, and you people think they have it all easy, but they never look at what they had to go through to get to where they're at. So again, no obstacle can stand in the way of commitment and persistence. And that's why it's like weak, whiny people, I don't think they're going to make it in the Millionaires Club. You know, only people who are committed and persistent. Like, yeah, this stuff may be annoying, but I'm not going to let it get in my way of my goals of achieving financial freedom. So again, if I've ever come across as insensitive, like I don't care, that's why. I'm making an unfair comparison when I really shouldn't. So I'm working on that. But final takeaway here, lesson number 2 for mindset is comfort is the enemy. And at the end of the day, you know, just realize that successful people, they simply do all the hard stuff that unsuccessful people are unwilling to do. And again, going back to all those names I rattled off earlier, they went through a lot of stuff that their friends were unwilling to do. Even I had friends making fun of me when I sold my car and all of my household furniture to fund my trading account when I first started. I had no money. I literally maxed out a credit card just to join the options course. And then I was left with, my coach was like, oh, you need 10 grand to start with. I'm like, I don't have that. So I sold my car and all my household furniture to come up with that money. And all my friends made fun of me and things like that. And so they were simply unwilling to make the sacrifices that I made, hence why they never achieved the things I did. So again, successful people are merely just a group of people who are willing to do the things that unsuccessful people aren't. So I'll stop here. I'm getting distracted. I will spend some time with my kids. They're here to visit me. So you all take care, and I'll see you in our next video. Bye-bye.